Shape sorters help our little ones' development everywhere from 6 months old all the way up to 3 years old, which is why it's one of my absolute favorite toys. I'm going to teach you these developmental benefits as well as a really cool little ninja trick which makes a huge difference for our little ones. When the babies are between 6 and 9 months old, they can use just one of the shape pieces like this, and then they're going to learn to switch it from one hand to the other. For babies between 9 and 12 months old, they can hold one piece of the shapes in each hand, and then they'll learn to start to bang the pieces together. The kids will also learn to start to take things out purposefully. So you got the shapes inside here without the lid on it. And at first, the kids are just kind of dumping everything out. But then they'll start to learn to purposely take one out at a time. Once the babies will purposely take the pieces out, then they can finally learn to put something inside. Now, it should be noted that once again, the shapes cover is not on this. We're not worried about the kids putting the shapes in yet and sorting that out. It's just literally putting something into a container, which they're gonna need a skill that they're gonna need to know before they can do it with the individual shapes. Between 9 and 12 months old, our little ones are also learning about object permanence, and I've used an empty bucket to just cover up things that the kids want. It doesn't need to be the specific shapes. It can be any toy that fits under it, but you can cover up the toy and then see if the kids know and understand that the toy is still there, even if they can't see it. Between 12 and 18 months old is when the kids will start to learn to put the shapes in. First, it will be the circle. This is the easiest one to put in. There's no sides to it. After the circle comes the square, and this might be more closer to the 18 months level, and they'll learn to put the square piece in. Now, this is the stage where that ninja trick's gonna come in super handy, so I'll get to that in just a little bit. This is also the age where kids will learn to put consecutive pieces into a container. At first, it's just kind of like a one and done, and then they just lose interest or they'll take it right back out again. But now they're gonna start to put consecutive pieces in. A lot of shape sorters come with 2 of each of the shapes, and they're often the same color, which works really great for the kids to learn the milestone at this age group of matching identical objects. So you just have a few out here, and the kids can see and learn that these 2 are the same and that this one is different. Between 18 and 24 months, now we're going to start to introduce the triangle piece to put that in. Definitely more challenging than both the circle and the square. And now, rather than just matching a single set of identical objects, the kids can use the pieces to progress towards sorting different ones out. So they can learn that, okay, these go over here, these go over here, and that these come over here. Between 2 and 3 years old, the kids are ready to start doing some of the more challenging shapes now that they've got the circle, square, and triangle down. In this shape sorter, the more challenging ones are the star piece here, as well as the cross. Now, there's no specific standardized milestone ages for those shapes, but now that the kids have mastered the basic shapes, they can start to practice some of the more challenging ones. Now, between 2 and 3 years old, you might have the opportunity, depending on the shape sorter and what kind of the pieces are that they give you, to work on the milestone of sorting by shapes. Now, in this situation, we wouldn't want them to be identical like this. So if your shape sorter comes with 2 identical triangles, like in this case, this isn't quite the milestone that's referring to, that's the earlier one. Happen to have another triangle here. So this would be more like a matching and sorting by shape where they aren't completely identical. If you want to work on some serious hand-eye coordination, you can try to have the kids actually stack these up into a tower. Now, this is a lot more difficult than taking a tower out of blocks, but once again, between 2 and 3 years old, the kids might have that hand-eye coordination to do that. Okay, as promised, here's the super cool ninja trick I was telling you about. So when the kids are starting to learn a new shape, what makes it a lot easier for them is if we can use our hands. Some people just tape it with paper and stuff like that, but I just use my hands so the kids only have one option to try to fit the piece into, and I make it obviously the correct one. Because what happens otherwise, if the kids try to get it in and they're not successful, they just go on to another one, and then they're obviously not going to be successful with these others, and they start getting really frustrated. But if we only give them one option and they're not able to get it in, they're going to keep working on that one open piece there until they're successful and they get it inside.